I finally got my hands on the Alpine A110. However, it is not any A110, it is the new A110S, which is pretty much a souped up version of the normal A110. I've really been eyeing this car for a long time. I like it. It really is a newcomer in the game. It is like nothing else really before, especially because it is such a historical brand. The small history is, in the 60s up until the 70s, the car was really successful in the rally sport, especially in the Rally Monte Carlo. And in the 70s, Renault slowly started buying the brand bit by bit. In 1978, they bought the brand to 100%. But by then, the A110 was discontinued, unfortunately. And after that, the brand Alpine slowly died. And now fast forward to 2019-20, I think they launched this car in 2017, and now first customers have their car, and the car is on the road. However, you have to say you haven't been seeing that many around. I think dominating are still other cars like the Cayman, the BMW M2 and similar. But yeah, I'm very keen to get my hands on this car, and yeah, let's take a quick look around the car and then we'll go for a drive here in the beautiful Black Forest. First of all, the A110 has a very distinctive front design, which is very similar to the old car. I personally like it a lot, especially the integration of the headlamp here. I believe in the old car was the fog lamp, which was used for rallying. The A110S model has black logos, and I really just liked the subtle, decent design. Let's move around here. We have a 4-piston brake, black logo here again. The S has an optional carbon roof as well. The engine in the center. Here's the air intake for the engine on the left and right side. Very nice rear with a center exhaust and a very long diffuser going in front of the rear wheels, which probably allows for a lack of spoiler up here, which looks very nice, though I would probably like a gurney flap in here. Anyways, very nice looking car. As you can tell, we've already done a bit of mileage in it, as it looks absolutely filthy. But yeah, let's take it on some curvy roads and see what it's like. First, it's not that, it doesn't give you that much confidence at the beginning. Really at the beginning, because it has so much grip and it drives so much on rails, I didn't feel too comfortable just putting it in the slide, because you really did have to push the car quite a lot to get it to slide. And we're in winter tires, and it's 3 degrees, which is pretty incredible. And I mean, I was expecting, especially because the car is pretty light, for it to rotate very easily, but you really do have to push it. And I wonder if this is especially due to the stiffer suspension, the lower suspension, because if you look at onboard videos of the Nordschleife on the normal A110, that turns and slides about like nobody's business. I was really surprised. I was hoping that with this, to be honest, but at the same time, I'm very impressed how much grip this thing has. Sliding, once you get some confidence with the car, it actually is very nice to drift. I mean, you really just pin it in, it rotates over the center axis beautifully. But you just keep the throttle pinned. With the fixed pedals, you just throw it into the next gear, and it is a lot of fun. So let's give it a try. for a while, I was wondering, why does this car not come as I'm just turning around since we do have a closed road. I was wondering, why does this car not come as a manual? It would be a lot more fun with a manual, 100%, but when you're pushing it at the limit, I'm glad I have these pedals, because it is a lot to do. What a joy this car is. It is so subtle from the exterior, but it delivers so much. Special, it's more fun, it's more rare, and I have briefly driven a A110, the stock one. My uncle actually has one in the UK, and it is fantastic. It's a fantastic GT car, but it is more comfortable, and for older persons, definitely what I would recommend. And actually, I've talked to Oleg, the salesperson in Frankfurt of these cars, and he says actually, yeah, most customers are people above their 50s, very rarely younger, because those were people that know the cars when they were new, and they are more comfort oriented, they're not as shouty. But I think with this one, with the S, just given how it performs, they're talking to the younger people, and I really think and hope that it's going to arrive with them, because this thing is bloody fantastic, and with 292 horsepower, that is more than enough. It is really flyingly quick, and for once it's a good looking car. I mean, so many of the other cars which are in a similar range, I personally just don't think look as good, but this thing is decent, it's nice, the proportion is fantastic, and for the first generation, I'm sure there are lots of things wrong with it, but for the first generation, it does a really good job. I mean, it's like the Juliet, lots of things wrong with it, but it's the first time they brought it back properly, and I think it's fantastic. Alright, unfortunately this review has ended rather promptly. Gladly we got the drifting, the fun driving out of the way. Unfortunately, however, we had a tire blow. Okay, we've already had an unsuccessful attempt at trying to fix the tire. Basically what happened, we were trying to run up this beautiful road and we ran over a small sharp rock which blew the tire here, hit the wheel here, and our tire is completely flat. We already tried pumping the tire up with a tire sealant kit. However, that tire sealant kit is rather meant for a nail and not for a rock. So, I thought I'd finish the review on foot. This is the first time I've done this. It's not as fun for you guys. I'm going to try to keep it short, but I still want to give you my opinion on the car, as I have driven it about 700 kilometers. I've had a lot of fun with it, and I've really got in touch with the car. I think the car looks very subtle, very nice. It's not too shouty, not in your face. Has a very nice stance once we come around here. The A110S is lowered by 50 millimeters opposed to the normal A110. The suspension is 50% harder. 4-piston brakes work fantastically. We've got some Goodyear Ultra Grip tires on here, 215 18s on the front, 245 18s on the rear. Unbelievable how much grip they have. I mean, we've got 3 degrees, it's cold, damp and wet, and you really can push the car, and the grip is unbelievable. The nice louvers here for cooling the mid-engine here, which is, I believe, a 1.8 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. The S has 292 horsepower, which is 40 horsepower more than the normal A110. 360 newton meters of torque, 0.4 bar more pressure on the turbo, and it sprints from 0 to 100 in 4.4 seconds, and the top speed I managed 267, which is plenty for the small car, which only weighs 1.1 tons I'll tell you what, above 200 kilometers per hour, the thing is pretty unstable. So it's more kind of a twisty road kind of car, not an autobahn runner, but it'll do it. It's really quick. Engine is paired to a double clutch 7-speed gearbox, which is fantastic. Really quick at shifting. I wish it had a manual just for more engagement, but once you're pushing the car and you're at the limit, you're kind of dealing with how quick the car is and how quick you have to do everything. And at that moment you would be a little bit overwhelmed with a manual gearbox. Here we have, you press a little button here, a miniature trunk. I'm kidding, it's actually much bigger. It really goes out until here and you can fit quite a lot. We have 2 weekenders in here, a tripod. Pretty impressive, and it does keep it slightly warm from the engine. Let's quickly move inside. We've got Zabelt bucket seats. Very nice high quality leather with Alcantara inside. And then typical for the A110, we have a part here in the door card which is the same color as the exterior, so if you have a blue car, this is blue, which would disturb me if it were blue, but in white it looks pretty good. The steering wheel has a very nice feel. However, one of the worst things about this car are the pedals. The nice thing is they're fixed, which is very good for drifting, because if the wheel's spinning you can just pull the pedal. However, they're way too short. Usually you want to grab it down here if the wheel's spinning, and they're way too close to the indicator and light switch, and you rather tend to pull the light switch than the pedal. Interface, the instrument cluster is pretty nice. The information is a little complicated, but it's still nice. You have 3 different modes: normal, sport, and track mode, which also changes the car. Normal, the exhaust flap is closed, everything is in easy, and in sport the exhaust valve already opens up, the revs stay up longer, and in track mode the car turns into a half traction control off mode, and the gears are actually fully manual, so the car will stay all the way in the rev limiter, which gives you a little bit more of a feeling that you're in control. But all in all, this is a car which was fantastic in the 60s. It really was leading the market, or at least in terms of rally and performance, and it was off the grid for 50 years. And here it is again, it's back in the game. It's first of its generation, if you will, and it is absolutely fantastic. It is competing to the Cayman, which has been existing for a few generations, which I think is very good. But honestly, personally, I would have this car because it is fantastic to drive. I love the way it looks. You don't see them a lot, and people will not be jealous of you when you have this car, when you look at this car, because it's a very normal, decent looking car and not a very shouty car. Would probably have one as a manual, but honestly the automatic or the double clutch is actually good, making it also a daily capable car. So yeah, I'm very much in love with this car. This is not the kind of car that you fall in love with when you see it. It's more, you drive it, you live with it for a couple of days, and you get to notice all these little details. So that's what the Alpine is about. It's about the details.